Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Avery. I'm 24 years old, and in today's video I'm going to be doing my May budget with me. For the month of May, I don't have a lot going on that I can think of, but I wanted to get on camera for once since I do have a new iPad and try and just be more present and be more involved, I guess, more or less in my YouTube channel. So I have my microphone right here, I have my computer right here, and hopefully I can figure out how to edit this. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So looking at my budget here, first thing I need to do is input the money that I get paid. I get paid once a month, so let me go ahead and put that in. I need to go into my checking account, and I need to enter my full-time job transaction. I do split the paychecks, so I need to go into my high yield savings account and enter that transaction. I put $500 a month into there, more if I can. And then another thing I'm going to do is check and make sure that I don't have any interest in my high yield savings account. So let me take a look here. Pulling it up on my phone. Okay, I did earn the interest. I got $41.70 in interest. So let me go ahead and input that as well. And side note, I am using the budgeting software YNAB or YNAB Budget. If you want to try it, I will have a link down below in this description in the description box. And if you subscribe using my link, you get a 34-day free trial. If you subscribe, you get an additional 34 days free. So just something to keep in mind if you're wondering what financial budgeting system I'm using. So anyways, back to the interest payment. So I'm going to put the money in, ready to assign as well. So $41.70 of interest, and I'm going to clear that transaction. So I have $3,269.12 to work with. Let me go into the May budget month, I guess, and just get started here. I have been making some changes with my budget recently, and I'm basically considering the month of May to be more or less spring cleaning my finances. So what that means is, when you look at my budget, I've changed some categories around, and I've also added categories back that I previously deleted. So for example, I originally got rid of my dining out category and I lumped it all into a general spending category. I discovered that was not working for me. So I had to make sure I went back in and added it back in, because every time I would use the spending category, I'd end up overspending, and I just don't think I'm good with that sort of like, what do you want to call it? Just not having a more defined boundary, or everything's a little too flexible for me. I need to make sure I have like defined limits that I stick to. So I did bring that category back, but enough about that. I also did, where is it at? So down here, I changed the spending category that I've had the last few months. I changed it to a general fun money category. To be more specific about, I need to use that money on fun, and dining out shouldn't be considered fun. It can be, but for me, I don't want it to be. And then I brought back the health, beauty, and clothing category. I've had this category in the past, and I deleted it because I thought maybe I could just lump it all together into spending, but I found that I would just spend all my money on dining out, and I wouldn't save any of it for anything that I actually needed. So we're gonna go back to what I had before and see how that works for me. So taking a look here, I'm underfunded by $1,386.57. The reason why I'm underfunded by such a little amount is because I already have my rent covered. I try to stay a month ahead on my rent, so I just like an extra month ahead, I guess, on my rent. So that's already been covered from my previous paycheck. And I also deleted my target on my Roth IRA. So if you watched my last video, I did max out my 2022 Roth IRA. So I need to start working on my 2023 Roth IRA. As of now, I don't have a goal to max it out. I just want to see how much money I can put in there and hope for the best. But I'm kind of taking a different tactic with how I'm funding it, which I will get into more into the video. So since I like to stay a month ahead on my rent, I'm going to go into June, and I'm going to put $858 in there. So I live in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. I live on my own, and I have lived in this apartment since July of 2021. I am moving out at the end, in the middle of July, and I'm moving into my boyfriend's apartment. So my rent will be going down. So what I'm basically saying is June should be the last month of this high of rent. And July, I'll have a prorated rent if I'm understanding correctly. And then starting in August, I'll have a lower rent. So in future videos, you might see me budgeting a different amount. But that's how much I have at the moment for rents. Going back into May, let's focus on funding these underfunded categories. So how I have my budget set up, it's a little haphazard at the moment, so we might go through and just clean it up a little bit. But I have a holding category. I'm going to delete this. I don't know. I was putting money in there when I just didn't know where to put it, but I don't really feel like that. I have no idea what I'm going to use. I have more clarity on what I want to do this month, so I don't need that category. Next month's spending, what this is it's basically like a 1 month ahead fund. So I always have at least 1 month of like general expenses. And for me, general expenses is like rent, any sort of monthly bills, and then also any sort of sinking funds that I have. I have this category for that. So basically, if I were to lose my job, for example, I would have like an additional month buffer in addition to my emergency fund and any other sinking funds that I have. You see what I mean? So I should probably hide this though, because I don't really need to take money out of it, and I don't need to be constantly reminded of it. So moving on to my focus on now. It sounds counterintuitive, but what I do with this category is I basically, anything that I'm trying to focus on after all my bills are covered and my sinking funds are covered, I try to put the money here. So even though it's at the top, even though it says focus on now, I actually need to come back to it later. So let's start with food. So food, I have been using Home Chef these past few months, and I am liking it. I did go through, what I like about it is I can look at like future weeks schedule, I guess, or like future weeks menus, and I can decide based off of my schedule, so what I'm up to that month, plus whether or not I like the menu, whether or not I actually want to get the food that week, or if I want to skip it. So I am skipping a few weeks in May. Forgot what month we were talking about in May. So what I decided was that my groceries category did not need to be as large as future months. Plus, since I'm bringing back the dining out category, I know I'm just having more clarity and like better understanding of where my money's going. So I'm only going to do Home Chef 3 times in the month of May, and it's about $70 a week. So I only need about $212 for Home Chef. And then I have all the proteins I need in my freezer. Like I have a lot of stockpiled proteins, like meats in my freezer. So really I just need to buy like sides or like vegetables to go with them. So I don't think I'll need that much additional money. And I'm also projecting that I should have some leftover money in this category when I do my budget rollover for the end of April. So basically at the end of April, any money that I have left over in this category, I'll just let it roll over to the next month, and I'll be able to use it for spending. So that's why I think only $250 would be needed. For dining out, this will be $125. I am considering dining out to be basically like eating out, of course, any sort of fast casual restaurant or coffee shops. Moving on from that, my rent is covered like we mentioned. For household, it says $25. I'm going to put $35 because I need to buy some checks soon. Like I need to order checks. How much are checks? Hopefully, maybe I need to put more money in there. But I am needing to order checks soon because I will have to pay with like a physical check to my next landlord. He's more old-fashioned, I guess, instead of like an e-check or an electronic transfer. So I'm trying to get ahead of that, but I may or may not buy those in the month of May. But just in case, hopefully I have the money in the household fund for it. Electric, let me check and see if I've gotten an electric bill yet. So I'm going to log into AEP's website since that is my electricity provider. Just a second here. No, they haven't given me next month's bill yet. It should come out any day now, but hopefully $35 should be enough. When I was checking previously, it said that my projected bill was about $33, so hopefully I didn't go much over than that. For gas, I don't have a bill yet. That usually comes at the beginning of each month, but I shouldn't be more than like 50 or so dollars. So I'm going to put $36.85 in here. That'll get me up to 70, so that's a good buffer. Internet is straightforward. It's $69.99. And then my phone bill, another thing I decided when I was spring cleaning my finances was to make sure that I wanted to change my phone plan. I was on 10 gigabytes of data, and I was kind of going over a little too quickly, partially because I kept watching YouTube videos when I was on data instead of just waiting until I got home and on the Wi-Fi. So that was kind of my bad. I could cut back on the YouTube videos, but honestly, it was only less than $10 more a month to get unlimited data. So I was thinking about why I had cut back to a limited data plan in the first place, and it was because I was making less income and I was trying to save as much money as possible to pay off debt or to just make myself feel more comfortable. But now that I have this newer job, or been in this new job for a while now, and I'm realizing that like $9 a month isn't going to make or break the bank. So if I'm going to have like basically $9 a month is worth it to me. In order to like be able to do stuff when I'm out and about instead of running out of data and then just having like a basically dummy phone or a limited phone and I can't do anything. So $46.43 is how much it should be. For transportation, this includes gas and parking. Usually I fill up about twice a month, and parking just kind of depends. My city has paid parking in some places, free parking in others, so it really just depends on what I'm doing that month. But or if I have any events that I'm going to, or like if I go to the hospital, they always charge for parking. So $100 should be fine, and I should have this $46 or so that will roll over, so I don't think I'm gonna have any issues with that. For car insurance, I pay this twice a year, so every 6 months, and I save up for it as a sinking fund, I guess, or just more of a spending target. So the next time I should have to pay it is September 6th of 2023, and I'm estimating it should be $450. Hopefully they don't raise my premium too much, but even if they do, I should have a good chunk of change set aside by the time September rolls around that I don't have to worry about some huge expense that I can't afford. For auto maintenance, I had been saving $75 a month. Sorry, someone's doing lawn work. Hopefully you can't hear that, but it happens. But for auto maintenance, I was saving $75 a month for this, and this is basically, this category for me is like any sort of oil changes, tire rotations, if I need new tires, if any sort of like maintenance on it, in addition to yearly things like I have to get my license renewed this year, which is something I'm going to do in the month of May since my birthday is at the beginning of June, and I need to do car registration, so you have to renew that every year. You could renew it multiple years in a row, but I've just been renewing it every year. But I already have $600 in there, and I'm not anticipating having to get any maintenance done until August. So for this month, I dropped it down to $50 because I think it should be okay. And if for some reason something happens to my car, I have an additional emergency fund, where is it? Down here for $3,000 that I can use as more of a buffer or to cover the difference. So moving on, my medical category, I've had a lot of medical expenses lately. I was in the hospital recently. I've been dealing with some health issues. So I've been spending, and I have some chronic issues too. So I have to make sure I have enough money set aside in my medical sinking fund. And it's by far my number one like sinking fund in terms of like how much action it gets. I am always spending money from this account or from this category. So I have been slowly bumping up how much I've been spending or how much I've been putting aside each month for this because I really want to build up a buffer in this instead of having it constantly just staying around the same amount or going down. So I did hit my out-of-pocket max though for the month or for the year because of all of the issues I've had. So hopefully my costs will go down in like the next few months, but I do have some outstanding medical bills that are supposed to come in after once all the insurance has settled and everything like that. So I know I'm going to need at least $300 or $400 in here. But for now, I'm going to do $130 and come back to this and see how much I have. So therapy, that I typically have a $30 copay for therapy. Now that I've hit my out-of-pocket max, I won't have to pay this expense out of pocket for the rest of the year, so that is nice. I'm not going to put any extra money from there. So basically what happened was I was going once per month for $30. I deleted this Target and I moved it to the medical Target, so it's not really like I'm saving any money. I'm just moving the money into a different category, if that makes sense. Wellness, typically I budget $139 for this. This is my spin membership, but since I recently had a health scare, I haven't been going to spin class. I paused this membership for a month. So what they told me is I'm not going to get paid, or I'm not going to get charged for the month of May. So I'm not going to put any money in this category. My subscriptions category did go up. It was $20.32, I think, and that consisted of Apple Care for my iPhone. It was like $8 a month, I think, and what else? Spotify, so that's $10 a month, and Apple storage for 99 cents. This did increase a little bit because I did get a new iPad, which you are seeing me film on right now. But that's $644 a month, so that's why this has gone up. I can cancel the Apple Care at any time, but I just think for now I'm okay with paying the cost of having the coverage, because I have had some issues with my MacBook that I had to get the screen replaced at one point, and having Apple Care made it significantly cheaper, because when the screen broke, it was either $99 to get the screen repaired, so that's how much it cost with Apple Care, or they gave me the expense out of pocket, and it was I think like $600 or $700, and at that point you might as well just buy a new computer, because it just did not seem worth it. So I was glad I had Apple Care. So Apple products are expensive, so if I can insure them and I'm fine with the cost, I'm going to pay it. So $26.76 there. My YNAB subscription, you pay this once per year. It's $98.99 for the year. Thank you to anyone that subscribed with my link recently. I got an email like the other day, so thank you. I hope that the software is working out for you. But I do need to put $8.25 into there. So that's ready for me when I have to pay this. I think it's in December. My haircut, I'm trying to grow my hair long at the moment, so it's not doing too hot. It's technically longer than what it looks like, because if I do this, it's longer than what you think, because I do have curly hair, but it takes forever to grow it long. And as I'm going into summertime, I don't know if I will stick to it, because I just, it gets so hot in the summertime that I may end up cutting my hair. So I'm just putting aside $25 per month towards my haircut in the future. And I've thought about getting my hair colored, but I know once you start doing that, it's kind of like a slippery slope. So things just it's like any sort of beauty maintenance things, like getting your nails done, getting your hair done, it can cost you money. It's like an ongoing payment until you stop. So I don't know if I want to get my hair colored, is what I'm saying, because I don't know if I want to commit to ongoing expenses for that. But I do know that I like to get my hair cut, so $25 it is. For Christmas, at the beginning of this year, and this is what I like about YNAB, is because you can start putting aside money for what they call your true expenses. So what this means is that Christmas is going to happen every year. So you really should be putting aside a little bit of money each month. That way when Christmas rolls around, you don't feel overwhelmed by how much everything costs you. And you also aren't worried about going into debt, because you have the money set aside and you've been setting it aside for the entire year. So that's why I have a Christmas sinking fund category, and I am projecting that it'll be about $700 is what I'll spend. So what that comes out to is $60 a month. So put that in there. And then emergency fund, I'm not doing anything now. Roth IRA, I'll come back to. I'm going to put $75 in the health, beauty, and clothing, $100 into the fun money category. That shakes out to about $25 a week. I don't have to worry about credit cards. Focus on later. I will be focusing on later. So really what I just want to do is decide what I need to do with this remaining money. So I have $1,173.55. So what I've decided with my Roth IRA, at least for now, is to put aside money, like extra money as it comes in. So for example, I had budgeted that $41 I had put that $41.70 that I got for my interest on my high yield savings account into my ready to assign. So that would be considered extra money to me. So I'm going to put that into the Roth IRA. So there's that. When I started the video, before I input my paycheck, I had $17.02 in my ready to assign that I wasn't using for anything. I had been moving money around, just cleaning things up. So I'm going to put that in here as well. Another thing I'm going to do is Amex. So I have an American Express card, and something that's nice about it is sometimes they have like offers where it's basically like if you spend $100 with this online retailer, you'll get $50 back, or you'll get 5% cash back instead of 1% cash back. I only accept the offers if it's stuff that I was planning on buying anyways. So, for example, I noticed that they had an offer for Home Chef. So if you'd spent more than $60, I think, you would get $20 cash back. So I changed my card on that account to Amex, and now I'm getting $20 cash back. So it's like I only paid $50 for the meal delivery service. So any way that I can save money like that, I try to, but I'm not like, some people like to really maximize it, but I'm just not that kind of girl. It's just like, if it's the right place, right time, I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to like worry about it too much. But I did notice this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this as an inflow, an inflow into my groceries category. So it's basically like a reimbursement. And then I'll go back into April, and I'm going to move that $20 that was inflowed. Is that me saying that right? Inflowed into the reimbursement, or into the groceries category as a reimbursement, move it to ready to assign, and then I'll go over to May and I'll put that money into my Roth IRA. So just from all of that alone, I have $78 for the Roth IRA. Another thing is I bought my boyfriend a pair of Oakleys. I'm supposed to get $25 back on that on the Amex as well, but I'm not going to do it in this video because it just hasn't fully processed yet. So I have $1,114 remaining. I need to put money into vacation, so I'm going to put the $300 there. In the month of June, I am doing a bit of a 3-parter vacation. I'm going to DC for a few days, I'm going to Myrtle Beach for a few days, and then I'm going to Tennessee for a few days. So it's about 10 or 12 days long. But the housing is already covered. I don't have to worry about like paying for a hotel or anything. We've already paid for it. So DC is a pretty cheap vacation, or like destination, I guess. You're really just mostly focused on the attractions and the sightseeing. So I don't really think it's going to cost that much. Myrtle Beach, I'm literally there just like overnight for a wedding, and the food at the wedding should be paid for, so I don't really have to worry about that. So really it's just like any sort of attractions I have in Tennessee. We're staying on a lake. I need to have money for it. So I'm going to put instead of 300 actually, I'm going to change this and say the total amount I need is 300, and I'm going to take out $100 to make it to where my available funds is 300. Reason why is because I have been building up some cash back on my credit card. I have almost $200 on it, so I was kind of thinking I could just use that towards the vacation and kind of just redeem it as I make purchases, basically. So I don't really think I'll need that much money at all. So kind of just trying to find a way to ball on a budget here. For the house down payment, I'm thinking, I need to do the gifts category. So in the month of May, it's my boyfriend's birthday. I've already bought his gift, but we're probably going to get dinner, so that's $50. And then I have Mother's Day, so I usually buy something for my mom and my stepmom. So I feel like I'm worried to see what the price of flowers are this year, which I know is stereotypical, but it's so pretty. Like, and people, they always love them, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm just worried about the price. So maybe $100 should be enough between that, so like $50 each. And I'm just gonna hope and pray and plead that that is enough money. Going down here, my future moving fund, I've decided to hold off on this category because I have $1,000 in there, which will definitely cover my first month of rent. And I'm not really buying new things. I'm just moving like 10 minutes down the street. So I'm just going to move my stuff in there. But I did have the idea that I wanted to like, you know, just buy some new things to like spruce it up and make it feel like our place. So I know I'm going to need a little bit more money for that, in addition to buying a standing desk and a new computer chair because mine is completely horrible. But what I mean by this is I can start worrying about that next month since I have covered like June's rent with this paycheck. Hopefully that makes sense. Just wanted to mention that. And I also will have enough money in there for my renter's insurance by the time I actually move into my new place. So maybe I should delete the renter's insurance category, or I'll just hide it for now. That's what I'm doing. Just trying to clean up my budget here and there. Let's do, should I do $350 or $500? What does $500 get me? It gets me up to $4,500 in the house down payment category. I don't know when I'll buy a house, if ever at this point. The pet category, I've kind of put this one on pause now, so maybe I should move it into focus on later, just because I don't know. I don't know. I just haven't been too excited to save for it. I do want an animal, but I've been kind of getting cold feet on just like the ongoing cost of having an animal. So I'm not sure about it. So I'm not sure if I'm going to keep putting money in there. Maybe I don't want to commit to a dog. Maybe I should get a cat, you know, something a little more low stakes and something a little easier to ease into, if that makes sense. Let's take this $64.83 and put it into the Roth IRA and see where that gets me. That puts me at $143.55. I want to get this up to, how much is 300? Like if I just do 300, what does that get me? I have $43.55 remaining. What should I put it towards? Maybe fun? I'm going to put it into medical. That way I have a little extra money in there, and hopefully I am in a better place by the end of it. So there we go. I have budgeted all of my money, or every dollar now has a job. So when I go into May, I don't have to worry about not having this money. Okay, how do I word this? Everything that I just budgeted is money that I have in my bank account. So I don't have to worry about whether or not I have the funds when I start having expenses come out in the month of May, because I budgeted using money that I have, not money that I'm projected to have. That's what I like about YNAB or YNAB Budget, because you can only give dollars a job if the dollars are in your bank account. So you never have to worry about being overspent, essentially. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Let me know how the month of May is going for you down in the comments below. If you like this video, please like it, as it really helps out my channel. If you want to see more budgeting content, including like weekly budget check-ins, sometimes grocery hauls on a budget, other things that I do, net worth updates, consider subscribing and sticking around. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye now.